Defining your properties. Basically, dim underscore dates. Here also DB connection target. Only change I can see the dollar. Save it. DB connection DGT. Perfect. So Oracle underscore TCT. Save it. Come on. Okay, first I'll try to avoid that parameter itself, then we'll see. Is there a problem with the parameter or something else?
Yeah.
Basically, this disturbed our schedule. Or else last night we could have started our resume. So I'm not giving any parameter file. Just take this target, and this is okay. And coming to your workflow, edit properties. Even this is okay. I'm not changing anything. But in the mapping, we're supposed to mention DB connection target is coming from this part. Okay, everywhere I'm giving target. I'm just trying to check, is the problem with this or something else, without using a parameter file. Oh, is it a capital letters? TGT? We are using a small case status, right? Oracle underscore TGT. Okay, first we'll see. Looks like this is working fine. Okay, meanwhile, I'll try to change it. Looks like the target name, I mean, the connection name, whatever we are mentioning is wrong. So if you look at this, now we'll try to generate the log. Now it's opening. So I believe the problem is we use the wrong connection. See here, this is the what But anyway, let's retest it, recheck it. I mean, you got any questions on the resume part? I mean, is
Uh,
any
I just saw the resume.
okay?
Mm,
It's the same resume. It's a kind of a realistic one. So whatever.
yeah, but I got an idea how to keep my resume.
Okay. So what projects you're trying to put in that? I mean, you get any idea on that part?
Actually, I'm thinking to keep the same project, one more year experience or project which you mentioned in the resume.
So you just want to try with the 3 years of experience?
Yeah, four. I think months. I didn't talk with Karthik till now. Months.
Mhm. Okay.
I'll see.
But trust me, Jaya, like if you put like 4 years, right? I don't
Yeah.
think you will get much calls. So try to
Hmm.
put like 6 or 7 and see like everyone, even the college pass outs also putting the same kind of experience. So
Yeah, but 6 or 7 years, they expect a lot from me, right?
mm, I don't think so. But like whatever you are preparing, right, that will be fine.
Yeah, I mean, 6, 7 years. I think I am fine, but Karthik is not okay with 6, 7 years.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, if you get a call, then it's really good. But if not, then it's a problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Means all these simple tasks will be easy for me to do, but in real time there'll be very big something big will going on, right? So I don't know how I'll handle all those.
Okay. In worst case, you might lose the job. That's it, right? What bad will happen? You'll try something else.
Yeah,
I mean, why I'm saying like if you get a job, then that's the important thing.
yeah.
It's not like a market is having only 2 jobs. First you applied and you lost it and you're not going to get anything. No.
Mm,
So market is there.
I'll see. Means I'll keep at least five. Means I wanted to keep at least 6 years or something.
Mm-hmm.
But Karthik is saying just five.
Yeah. Basically, it's trying to load, but it's getting like the referential integrity problems on the table side.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so we need to clean up the table completely and we need to reload it.
Okay.
So right now it's taking a long time. I believe the problem is with the parameter file, how we defined. Basically, I used the wrong name.
Mm-hmm.
So here earlier we used the small case letters. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now I changed it. Just change add this thing in your workflow. Okay, I don't want to sit the whole day on this part.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and we'll move on. Is that okay?
Yeah.
Okay, now it's aborted. Just for your understanding, I'm changing these things. I'm getting it back.
Parameters in real time.
Yes, but normally you use in the Linux, right? So here you're using in Windows.
Okay. Okay.
So each project will have their own syntaxes. Okay, so DB connection target, yes, looks good. Target looks good. Everywhere I'm trying to use this, the connection, DB connection target. So I'm making sure again on the workflow also. No, it's changed. So Now we will see. I just ran it. Okay, Jay, I'll do one thing. I'll create this map. What are the mapping I created, right?
Hmm?
I'll try to share that with you. Okay.
Okay.
Maybe in the evening session, I'll try to share that.
Mm-hmm.
Right now in this mission, I don't have it. Okay. Basically, it worked fine in my mission. Somehow it's creating the problem. Okay. So just give me. Okay, Jay. So I'll move ahead. Okay. And we'll sit in the next class. I mean the evening class.
Okay.
Okay. So can you go back to the slides? Actually, my target now, I would like to finish the rest of the concepts. And when we meet again, we need to look into your resume completely.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll try to finish these concepts first. And for the fact load, whatever the question I had in my mind yesterday, you're supposed to have a key, but like that's not right. Okay. You won't have any kind of a primary keys on your fact table. Okay, the only the fact table is like it's going to take all the keys from a different kind of a dimension tables and it will maintain it along with the facts.
Yeah.
So whatever the structure we are having, it's good.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we don't have any questions on that part right now. So but that loading into the fact table, first you need to derive all the dimension tables. Once your all of your dimension tables are ready, then just simply load the data. Even now I can load the data, but if I don't want to use the parameter file, but that the target table referential integrity constraints are creating an issue. Okay, so the solution for that is we need to clean up the data completely and then we need to reload it. If time permits in the evening session after after finishing the parameter file, then we'll look into that.
Mm-hmm.
Clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, till now we have learned about the concepts like reusability of a transformation. Okay, reusable transformations. Now if I want to use like multiple transformations in as a reusable group, you understand what I'm saying? So till now, if I want to reuse a transformation, I'm just making it as a reusable.
Yeah.
But what if I build a logic, but I want to use that logic again and again? Then I have to build a couple of transformations as a group, and I need to reuse that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let me show you. Okay, first I'll finish the concept, then I'll go there. So if you look at this, basically, so maplet encapsulate a subset of a mapping. Basically, maplet is going to put the sum of informative objects together and it's going to work as a single transformation. If you look at this maplet, okay, how you are going to see this as a single object, right? But if you open this maplet, okay, this is what is going to see. This much logic is there in your maplet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, all this logic you are encapsulating as a single object and you
Mm-hmm.
are just sending the input and taking the output. But inside, when you take the input from here and some kind of a logic will perform here and you are giving as output.
Okay.
Okay, so this is how your mapping is going to look like. Simply sending input and you are creating a capsule. In that capsule, you are writing your logic
Mm-hmm.
and you are delivering something.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, the maplet, you're having a two different kind of a basic transformations. Maplet input transformation, maplet output transformation. So maplet input transformation takes the data and maplet output transformation sends the data out from the maplet. In between, you can use any kind of a transformation. Of course, few transformations are restricted, but other than that, you can use any kind of a transformation.
Mm-hmm.
So the same thing, whatever we discussed. But you need to understand here, within the maplet also, I can use the sources or source qualifier. But as a target, I cannot use the maplet.
Mm-hmm.
You are able to understand this. In this maplet, you are using two sources. But for outside of the mapping, or like if you look into the mapping, you are able to see only this thing: maplet, filter, and a target. That's it. But if you open the maplet, then you can see multiple transformations along with the sources. Even I can create a maplet between of sources and target, like I defined here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, maybe this is the best example. Either I can build the maplet between of the mapping, or I can build the maplet in the initial stage of the mapping. So anything is okay.
Mm-hmm.
But I cannot build the maplet in the end of the mapping or in the end of the flow in the mapping.
Okay.
Okay, so there are two kind of a transformations. So one is input transformation and output transformation. So now we are going to look into that input transformation, maplet input transformation. Basically, what is it, what the maplet input transformation will do? This is going to take the data from other transformation. Basically, it's a passive transformation because you are not going to change any data. It's
Mm-hmm.
just using to traverse the data between two entities, and it's not going to perform anything else, any other properties.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you are going to have only output ports. There are no input ports in this because the data is going out.
Okay.
Okay, so the input transformation, only those ports connected from an input transformation to another transformation will display in the resulting maplet. So basically, resulting maplet in sense, this is the resulting maplet. This is the resulting maplet, right? Only which are going out, the only those you can see over here. Okay, the rest of the fields you cannot see. So like in a variable port, can you see the variable port outside of the transformation? When you open the expression transformation, then only you can see the variable port.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
if you want to see that variable port from outside of the transformation, you cannot see it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the same thing over here, but like is here the story is a little bit different. Okay, whatever the ports you are sending out, only those things you can see. But if you're simply using them but you are not sending out, then you cannot see from the outlook. Is that clear, Jaya?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. So connecting to the same port, okay, connecting the same port to more than one transformation is not allowed. Okay, for example, same port employee ID, I'm trying to connect to two different kind of transformations. It's not allowed in Mapplets, but in a regular transformations, it's allowed. Okay, this is the most important thing you need to remember in an input transformation. And in the maplet output transformation, even this one also a passive. Okay, for the maplet output transformation, only thing is it's only it takes the input ports. Okay, basically whatever the data is coming from other transformation in maplet, okay, you are sending it out. Okay, to send that out from that maplet, you need a transformation. Are you able to understand? When I'm saying it's a capsule, maplet is a capsule, but there should be some kind of a mechanism to send the data out, right?
Mm-hmm.
So because you are building this capsule like this, for example, you are building the capsule like this. Okay, within the maplet, you are doing so many things. Okay, within the maplet, you are doing so many things, but how you are going to output them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if I'm using a regular transformation, then what is the meaning of a maplet? No. So for the maplet is a kind of a capsule which is incorporating entire logic, but you need some kind of a mechanism to send them out. For that, you are using the maplet output transformation.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is it clear, Jaya?
Mm.
Okay, so bottom line, you need to remember two things here. This is how your mapping is going to look like. So if I am sending the data into my maplet, then I need a maplet input transformation. If I am sending the data to outside of the maplet, okay, from the maplet, if I want to send the data to outside of that maplet, then I need a output transformation. Ultimately, your maplet is going to consist of two different kind of a transformations. If
Mm-hmm.
anyone asks you, very high level. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so from the maplet, how you are going to send the data to the targets. So we are going to see this with a lab, and we are going to use these maplets. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
if you look at this, multiple passive maplets can populate the data to the same target instance. For example, my maplet is using all the passive transformations. Okay, then it's called a passive maplet.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if the data is coming from the passive two passive maplets, you can send it to the one target, just like a two passive transformation you can connect, right? The same example, even that works in a maplets also. You remember, like in the triangle base, if you are having active transformation, it's not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
In the triangle base, if you're having like all the passive mappings, but then it's allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing here. In the same way, in the triangle pattern, okay, in the triangle pattern, if you're having like active maplets, then it's not allowed.
Mm-hmm.
Simple story. But if in the passive transformation, sorry, passive maplets, then it's allowed. Then what is a passive and what is a active? If you're having all passive transformations in the maplet, then it's going to called as a passive maplet. If you're having all active transformations, then it's called a active maplet.
Mm-hmm.
So till now, any questions here? Till now, we discussed what is a maplet. Maplet is a reusable object, okay, where you can combine different kind of a transformations. That is a basic thing. So I'm going to have like a two different kind of a transformation within the maplet. Okay, one is input and other one is output. Okay, so why we will use a maplet? To perform like a kind of a reusable activity or to achieve reusability in a multiple transformations. I need to use the maplet.
Mm-hmm.
And the same concept whatever we used, you cannot connect two active maplets to the target object. Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
the data which is populating from two active maplets you cannot populate into target, but two passive it's possible.
Okay.
Okay, same maplet parameters and variables. So similar to the mapping, so the way you define the mapping parameters, the same way you can define the maplet parameters. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so there is no much difference. Even you may ask like what is the difference between mapping and maplet? So mapping also a collection of a sources, targets and transformations, but mapping I cannot reuse. Okay, once I create a mapping I cannot reuse that mapping in some other mapping, but maplet I can reuse.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is a basic difference. So fact cells load mapping, we'll do this. Okay, right now as of now I'm getting the error with the fact cells, right? So we'll try to use the existing mapping and I'll show you. Okay, right now this is what my logic. What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to write this logic, this specific logic, okay, in one instance.
Mm-hmm.
I mean in a maplet. Then I'll try to reuse it. So where you are going to build the maplets, and this is where first let me copy this logic. I'm trying to create a maplets. Where you are going to create the maplets? This is the place where you can create the maplets. Go to maplets, create, just what is that? Dim product. This is what your maplet. Now first thing is get the transformation. So maplet input and get the maplet output, just like creating a your regular mapping. Now let's go to your mapping and see like what are the things I can get it from here. Basically, I'm doing a reverse engineering. So these are the things basically coming from my input, right? Product ID, group description. From the source qualifier, those are the things are coming.
Mhm.
And in the output, what I'm sending two maplet outputs. One is for insert. I don't think this one is needed. Lookup. And I'm taking another maplet output transformation. Okay, so there are two groups are coming from this maplet. Maplet is invalid. Why? Lookup trans condition field. Product ID is not connected. Okay. Product ID I'm taking from the input. Product ID in. Input transformation fields that are already busy connected cannot be reconnected. Okay. Then I'm not taking this lookup because one port can be connected to only one transformation. We saw that, right? Not like a regular transformations. Okay. Now this is what my maplet I would like to use in here in my mapping. Go to maplets, get the maplet here. And basically what's happening in your maplet, you are taking the data into your router and you are splitting into two groups. That is what you're doing.
But you took off the lookup, right? Then you mentioned the lookup here.
Yes, the reason is we read a concept from the maplet input transformation. I cannot connect one port to two different kind of a transformations.
Yeah, but if you are not mentioning any lookup, but you used here, it shows an error, right?
Exactly. That's good point. So it will show the error. So you are going to take another input transformation and you are going to connect that. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So first, let me take this point. Over here, I'm just trying to connect the source qualifier, product ID, group ID. Okay. and output whatever is generating from here. Now I am taking out the router. So the first one is map out product ID. I'm taking it from here. Okay. So the second one is going to be here. But we're supposed to get that lookup ID. Sorry, the lookup one. Because in update also we need that lookup. Okay. Now I'm going back because the lookup is like nowhere it's connected now. Okay. So let's take this lookup, try to create another transformation. Instead of that, we'll do one more thing here. Let's take an expression. Now take another expression. Sorry, lookup, right? Where is this lookup? This product ID, everything is will go here, and this lookup will get only product ID. Does this make sense now? I'm unnecessarily creating a lot of ports. Basically, it's supposed to come here. The rest of 2 ports I don't need. Now, let's take this key to here. And even here in the update, I need that key. I believe in the product ID also I need the key, right? Is this clear now? See the same concept, like, so instead of using like anyway I cannot use like a 2 input lookup transformation, sorry, maplet transformations. So what I did is like and I cannot point one input port to multiple transformations. So what I did was like I took like expression in middle. From expression I'm passing these things. Now it is valid here. Now I don't need this. Simply I'm performing all of this logic in my lookup. Okay, and I don't need the key, and I don't need to send the key in insert, but in the update, I need that key. There's a reason I'm connecting only this part here, and I can ignore the first thing. Okay. Any questions, Jaya? So overall, your maplet is looking like this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So internally, if you want to see this, just double click, open maplet. Okay, right click and open maplet. Here you can see your maplet, how it looks. Okay. Now let's run this. Jay, can you disconnect the folder and reconnect it just for a minute?
I can't do right your access. You're controlling my screen.
Oh, okay. Okay, so maybe I need to disconnect and reconnect this. Okay, so anyway, just to make sure, recheck this because we took out the target. The same one, right? Products.
Mm-hmm.
Perfect. So as you already have the data, it's loaded 96. So there is no change in the logic, or there is no change in the uh, I mean the data. The only change is how we implemented it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, the NZLs updated, everything is same. The only change is how you are going to recreate. I mean, how you are going to create a code which can be reused.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, is that clear on Mapplets?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move on to the next one. So let's
Krishna, give me a minute.
Mhm. Jay, are you there?
Yeah, Krishna.
Okay. So the next thing is, okay, the mapping design. Basically, this mapping design, you need to create your own mapping, Jaya. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So design your own mapping in your own way. There are no restrictions on this thing. The reason is this is nothing related to your labs. You are loading from stage transactions to fact promotions.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So just you need to perform this one on your own. There are no rules, nothing. The way you want to perform, and if you want to practice this, the same thing, whatever we did for the dates to stage dates to dim dates, or like dates to stage dates, right?
Mm-hmm.
Just for like a practice purpose. Even this is for the practice purpose. Okay. There is no concept to work on this thing.
Okay.
Okay. Just like your
It's just a normal mapping.
normal mapping, you're supposed to work.
Okay.
I mean, when I'm saying you're supposed to work means it's just for your kind of a homework kind of stuff.
Okay.
Okay. So there is nothing concept to work on this specific workflow.
So this is the fact table, right? So need should I use parameters and all?
That's what, like, no need to use anything.
Okay.
Okay. Just whatever the data is there in stage transactions, try to understand how you are going to populate, how try to see how what are the columns
Mm-hmm.
in fact table, and try to understand how you can load them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, come on. S- Next thing. So basically from here, after Mapplets, everything goes smooth, Jay. So these all are the things which are nothing related to your, even in your interviews also.
Mm-hmm.
No one is going to ask, just like one or two questions, but like nothing more than that. Okay. The same way, whatever we used, the mapping variables and parameters, even in the workflow level also, you are having parameters and variables.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So, and we are going to discuss the link conditions. We already seen this link condition. One time we tried to use, but it got failed. And we thought, okay, when it comes, we'll see it. You remember?
No.
Session to session in middle, we are giving some condition. If it succeeded, then only go to the next one. Anyway, I'm going to explain it. So in the workflow manager, the sessions, like still now, whatever the session task we are using, right? Even that is a kind of a task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Like that, you're having a couple of tasks: assignment task, decision task, email tasks. Earlier, like when Informatica got introduced, so there are no third party tools. Okay. So Informatica thought, okay, I need to create all these tasks so that it will be useful for the business. Now no one is using all these tasks. Now you have like a different kind of a third party tools. Whatever in the tools you are seeing in your resume, those are third party tools. Why? To integrate with some other applications. Okay. Or to create the dependencies within the jobs in a real time. If you look at this mapping, if you look at this mapping, sorry, workflow, how you are going to run this, how you are going to maintain the dependencies, it's very difficult, right? So if you want to make sure this specific job runs after certain condition met, then you are going to create other tasks. But nowadays, what happening, as these jobs are running on a Linux server based, so you are creating a third party tools, like maybe in my company, I'm using Control M. Okay. So you are not going to do anything. You are just going to provide the instructions to them. I want to run this job after this, after this, after this. You are going to provide the dependencies. Then the Control M team will perform their logics.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. They are going to put your jobs in a proper sequence.
Okay.
But earlier, when Informatica got introduced, they have introduced even this mechanism, but it's not so effective.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So anyway, we are going to see them. Okay, the link condition. Basically, if I'm running a workflow, okay, this workflow I'm running. Earlier we try to give a condition. See here, I try to give a condition like status. This status equals succeeded. Somewhere the spelling went wrong last time. Okay, this is succeeded, then only start this. Okay, for
Mm-hmm.
example, if I'm kicking off this job, what will happen? Let's see. And I'm giving an error here. Sorry, wantedly I want to fail it out. How I can fail this? Maybe give a
Bulk.
bulk is one of the option, but let's give its source. Okay, there is no chance. Even you can give bulk. I'm failing this. Okay, now this should not start. I'm running the whole workflow. Okay, dim load. This is failed. Dim dates failed. Okay, now what we need to make sure is the next job. What is this job? Dim promotions should not kicked off. Okay, is it kicked off? Only other jobs are kicked off, but not dim promotions. Ultimately, it's failed. Can you see this?
Mm-hmm.
Dim dates got failed, but my dim promotion didn't kicked off, but other jobs got kicked off. Except this, everything got kicked off. You understand the point? What I'm saying?
No.
Okay.
Are these linked to every task? Means every workflow? All these workflow are linked to each other?
Mm, just a sec. Okay. Every session, not workflow.
Mm.
Every session is linked to dim underscore dates.
Okay.
Or in that scenario, when I kick off this workflow, what will happen? First, dim underscore dates will run.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then once this is run, then only the other things are going to kick off. Okay. Even for this, specifically for this, I mentioned a condition. If this fails, don't kick off this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. If this fails, don't kick off this. But for the rest of the things, I don't put that condition. So all these three are starting, and but not this one,
Mm-hmm.
because there is no there is a condition over here. It's only succeeds, then only start this
Okay. If dim underscore date succeeds, then only start the product
from promotions table.
motion. Okay.
But for the rest of the things, there is no condition.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Even you can see just now I ran that job. Okay. Do you want me to rerun this again?
Yeah.
Okay. Now you see. First dim dates will start.
Mm.
When immediately the other two jobs will start.
Okay.
But like promotions is not starting. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Okay. That is what the intention of that link parameter or
Mm-hmm.
link task. Basically, even that is a task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So workflow variables. The way you have like a mapping variables, even you are having like a workflow variables where you are going to see them. So if you go to the workflow, if you go to the workflow, edit variables. So there are two different kind of a variables. One, you can define your own variable for workflow.
Mm-hmm.
or you can use the existing workflows or workflow variables. Okay, is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
So there are two different kind of a variables. One is you can create, that is a user defined. One is a inbuilt variables.
Mm-hmm.
Right now I'm not creating anything, so come on, I'm just trying to see where these variables are. I can create my own here, but these variables are different. Predefined, user defined, where you're going to see this. This is okay. This is a user defined. Just now we have seen this. The way he's showing here is a different thing. User defined functions. Okay, let me think this. Basically, the variable, the workflow variable, whatever you are going to use, is for like the total number of the records you processed today. So in last example, you processed 90 records. So 90 records you want to put in your mapping. So then where you are going to see them? Let's go to the mapping. You are in the mapping designer. Let's take another example. Dim underscore excuse me, Go to the Mapplets. This is the place the variables can be seen. The mapping built in, and these are the mapping variables. But here also I can see like workflow runtime, session run mode, repository username. But these are related to the mapping. In the same way, for session also, you should see them. So when you go to this, this really frustrating basically. If you don't use that property for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
then you'll simply forget it. Normally, we won't use the workflow variables.
Okay.
Most of the time, we'll use the mapping variables and parameters. But still, just we'll spend 2 more minutes, Jaya. If not, I'll search in Google and I'll come back this. Sometimes they change the name, but like recent times, they didn't change anything. No. Final try. Supposed to be in the edit mode, and properties. I checked everything. Parameter no. Workflow no. I don't think in scheduler. Only in the variables you're supposed to see. But when I click on here, you cannot see anything. If you click on event, maybe you will find these variables in one of the tasks. Okay, I'll come back to this, Jaya. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
next thing. User defined workflow variables, that's what we have seen. If you want, you can define your own variable. Okay, or else you have to use the inbuilt variables. Maybe this is where you're going to see in the assignment task, not in the session and workflow. So assignment task, you are going to see the workflow variables. So see where you are going to see this task. First of all, all these tasks are here, but trust me, you never use this in recent times. Maybe when the Informatica started, they used this, but after that, people stopped using these things. So these are the tasks, different kind of tasks. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
First, we are going to see the assignment task, but like you should have an idea like what each task is doing.
Okay.
Temp assignment. Basically, this task is to, I mean, you guys will use to create or like assign some kind of a tasks. Like if I want to know, uh, okay, maybe the best example, event raise and event wait. I'll explain just a sec. Here, must have the user defined variables. Okay, first let me create some user defined variables. Okay, just I'm creating a variable, simple variable. I'm not I mean, the variable name is a new variable. I'm initializing this variable now, and I need to assign a value for that variable. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so to assign a value for that variable, what I'm doing for that new variable, okay, I'm assigning 100. 100. Apply. Okay. Whenever I run this, okay, for example, if I run this, what will happen? Basically, it's going to assign that 100 to that variable. Wherever you want within your workflow, you can use that variable, but where you want that variable, that's the question. So for that, you need to go for the next task. Just remember, in assignment variable, I just assigned a variable, okay,
Mm-hmm.
with a value of 100. Now, the decision task, okay. Basically, the decision task is just like in a router, okay. If the job fails, what happens? Go to what kind of a flow,
Mm-hmm.
okay. So this is just like a router task, and I cannot recreate this right now, the decision task, but like remember the concept. Decision task is kind of a control task, okay, which will create a flag, and based on that, you will send the control to the other session tasks. If it fails, then route it to some other task, or if it success, route it to some other task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if anyone asks what is the decision task controls your flow.
Mm-hmm.
And the email task. So trust me, these are like kind of a old task nowadays. No one is sending the emails from the Informatica.
Mm-hmm.
People are using a kind of a different kind of a technologies to send the emails. So the purpose of this email task in this specific slide is, if in case job fails, I want to notify my business users. Then
Mm-hmm.
what you are going to do? You are going to send out an email within your workflow.
Mm-hmm.
As this is not a licensed version, you cannot even explain these tasks. But
Mm-hmm.
like the email task will be used. Okay, if in case job fails. And why the people are not using organization means it's not only Informatica, right? People are using different kind of a tools. For all those tools, they're integrating this with a common email tasks mechanism.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for Informatica separate, and they won't use like this. So normally what they will use a control M tool. From the control M tool, they will send the emails. Is it clear, Jia?
Mm-hmm.
Is it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, so this is what happening. See what exactly is doing. He is assigning some variable. Even I don't know why he's assigning the variable for this example, because he's not using that variable anywhere. Okay,
Okay.
and he's assigning the variable, and in the decision task is, if it succeeds, is
Mm-hmm.
passing to the next session. If it fails, he's sending an email.
Mm-hmm.
But you cannot do this thing in our trial versions.
Mm-hmm.
But even in the real time, also no one is using. So you don't have to worry about much.
Okay.
But when they ask a question, what is a decision task? You're supposed to tell them a decision task control the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Based on the decision property, whatever you mentioned, based on that, it will alters the flow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. In this scenario, it's going to, if it is success, it's going to the session. If it fails, it's going to send out an email.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Can you answer these things? Link conditions. Even the link condition is used to send the status to the next session. Based on that condition only, you're sending this thing. I mean, sending the control, right?
Mm-hmm.
We mentioned like the last status is equal to succeed, then only go for the next one, or else don't start it.
Okay.
And workflow variables, these are the variables. Basically there is a two different, user defined and predefined. So user defined variables, you can assign some value, you can use it wherever you want, but you, as of now, you don't know where to use it, okay, for now. But like the rest of the variables, there are like a lot of variables, like a row count, how many rows you processed, at what time your session started, okay, how many records got failed, all these things will be captured in the variables. I'm trying to show you that variable, but when the task comes, I'll show you.
Okay.
Assignment task, same thing. To assign user defined variable, you are going to use assignment. Decision, just now we discussed. Email also we discussed. But the important thing, day to day, they won't ask in interviews, but this is a day to day activity. Link conditions,
Mm-hmm.
we will use that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, there are some more tasks. Event wait and event trace. This concept is important, but not the task. Okay, I'll explain this.
Okay.
What is this event task? Basically, okay, for example, you're running an application. I explained yesterday, I explained like there are like downstream applications, upstream applications. Downstream applications is from where you are getting the files and data.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, take a scenario. You are executing your job, but by the time you execute your job, your file is not ready. So
Mm-hmm.
what will happen? The job will fail, right?
Yeah.
In the real time, how you're going to handle that? So what they will do is basically they will create a file watcher. Okay, a job will continuously run in the background.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, in the informatic also you have that property, so that it will search for your file. Whenever that file is in place, immediately your job will kick off.
Okay.
Okay, that mechanism you can achieve by event wait and event raise.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so in the event wait, okay, you are going to have the file watcher. You need to remember that word, file watcher. But in the real time, how the people are doing, basically they are writing the Linux script. Okay,
Okay.
if files exist, then only kick off this job, or else don't kick off the job.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so event raise also same thing. So at certain condition occurs, just kick off something, event
Mm-hmm.
raise. Okay, based on the event wait conditions, the event raise will work.
Okay.
So this is also one of the important tasks, like command task. Like I'm having some couple of Linux commands from Informatica. I want to invoke them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, just from Informatica. Then you're supposed to use the command task.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if your project is an a Windows machine, but you want to try, you are trying to connect your Linux machine, some other Linux machine. So how you are going to integrate that? By using a command task. But 90% of the projects who are using the Informatica will be on Linux. So I don't think like then separately use the command task.
Okay.
The same thing, how you are going to use the command task concept. Reusable task. We almost like every time we are saying this concept. If you are doing something in a task developer, that's going to be reusable, or else even you can reuse that.
Mm-hmm.
You know this concept, right? Reusable tasks. Okay, let me show you this. If I'm creating a session over here, this is the dim dates is not a reusable because
Mm-hmm.
it didn't created in task developer. The rest of all the tasks are reusable. Okay, because I created them in a task developer. Even if I want to make it as a reusable, I can make it.
Okay.
We select in this option, make reusable. But once you do this, you cannot revert it back. Okay,
You can't?
you cannot revert it back. You cannot make it as a non-reusable again.
Yeah, okay.
Okay, so
Mm-hmm.
just make sure of that. And command task I'm talking, right? So basically here you are going to write the commands. What are the commands you want to write?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever you execute this task, those commands will go and execute.
Mm-hmm.
What are the commands you write? Maybe I can remove a file or create a file or copy a file, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so reusable session configurations. instead of looking into the slide, directly go and see it. Okay. Whatever the configuration settings you are doing for the reusable session, better do it in the task developer.
Mhm.
Okay. So what is the configuration? What are the things you can see in the configuration? Config object. These are the options.
Mhm.
Okay. So couple of times, I mean, we have seen these properties, right? Save sessions for how
Mhm.
many runs. Okay. Stop on errors.
Mhm.
Okay. We already seen this thing, but during the other sessions, but like again, he's trying to mention this.
Mhm.
Okay. PMCMD utility. Maybe this is an important question. Whenever you are trying to learn Linux, you need to have this understanding. So if you want to run any kind of a Linux command, sorry, Informatica, if you want to kick off this job, Informatica job in Linux, how you are going to do that? By using that specific command, PMCMD start workflow.
Mhm.
If you use that command, then you can run your job instead of running a job like this, like going from the workflow manager and kicking off. Even you can kick off this job from the Linux server if your Informatica is installed on the Linux.
Mhm.
Okay, so
Mhm.
so maybe you might get a question: what are the commands to use to interact with your Informatica jobs?
Mhm.
The answer is PMCMD.
Okay.
Okay, just remember that word, PMCMD.
Mhm.
And the next thing is a command. Start workflow is a command. PMCMD is an extension for your Informatica.
Mhm.
Okay, so what are the reusable session configurations? Stop on errors. Okay, and how many sessions you want to save, and event wait and event raise. Event wait is to create a kind of a file watcher kind of a events, and event raise, whenever you want, you can invoke them. Command task to execute the commands in the Linux prompt from your Informatica.
Mhm.
Reusable tasks, if you want to reuse your session again and again, you can create in the task developer.
Mhm.
Okay, PMCMD means to invoke Informatica from Linux. You're going to use the PMCMD commands.
Okay.
Okay, so can you go to the next slide? You cannot access. Okay. I'm going a little bit fast. The reason is like this, there's nothing, there is no concept to explain over there.
Mhm.
Okay. So even though there is a little bit of a concept, it's not so important for your interview perspective, even in the interview perspective as well as a real-time perspective. Okay. Only whatever is important, like the session task, the task connections, that is important. We are going to use it daily.
Mhm.
So that's where I'm trying to do a lab and trying to show you. The
Okay.
command task I cannot show you, the email task I cannot show you, the file watcher I cannot show you right now. That's the reason I'm not able to show you.
Okay.
The same way, whatever you used Mapplets, in the same way, I can use the worklets. Okay,
Mhm.
if I'm combining couple of transformation, I'm calling it as a Maplet. If I'm combining couple of session tasks, I'm calling it as a worklet.
Mhm.
This is the worklet. So what I can do, I can bring these sessions here,
Mhm.
all these three sessions here, and give a name to this worklet. Okay, and connect them. And I can use this worklet in a new workflow, simple workflow. Okay, go to worklets. Looks like it got failed. I mean, some condition is missing. The main task is missing. Okay, here I can use this worklet. Same thing, just like your Mapplets,
Mhm.
grouping everything in one worklet and executing it.
Mhm.
Make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So the same concept like a reusable worklets and non-reusable worklets. So maybe you can read it out. But if you're doing in the worklets in a task developer, the sessions whatever you are having, all are like reusable tasks, right? So if your worklet is built by the reusable tasks, okay, then you're going to call it as a, a kind of a reusable worklet. And the reusable worklet can be created in the worklet designer. So now, right now, whatever we did is in the worklet, reusable worklet.
Mm-hmm.
Non-reusable worklets you can create in your regular workflow designer. Whatever you are creating in a regular workflow, it's not a reusable.
Okay.
Okay, you won't get that arrow symbol, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the rest of the concepts are the same, whatever I explained. See, these are the worklet designer. Whatever you are building under worklet designer, that is a reusable worklet.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you are building under workflow, that is a this one is a workflow.
Mm-hmm.
So what is the difference between the workflow and worklet? Worklet is a reusable object,
Mm-hmm.
and workflow is a non-reusable worklet, I can say.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, because I cannot reuse that workflow somewhere if I want, but worklet I can reuse.
Okay.
Okay, again, it's a kind of a boring topic, timer task, and all these tasks. Whatever related to this workflow manager is not so important. Again, I'm stressing, but timer task also. If I want to run my job so and so time,
Mm-hmm.
okay, just you can set your time and leave it, and make sure your Informatica is running.
Okay.
At that specific time your job is going to kick off. But in the real time, how they are going to handle, they are going to handle by using a scheduler.
Mm-hmm.
So in some places they will use dollar universe, in some places they will use like a auto flow, kind of like a control m. Okay, based on the control m and auto flow, they will try to execute the jobs.
Mm-hmm.
So no need of any control task or like a control task, just like your traffic signal, when to stop, when to abort. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all these options, at what time it's supposed to fail, at what time it's supposed to run, and okay, which one need to be bought. All these tasks are controlled by using PMCMD commands in
Mm-hmm.
real times. Okay, when to start, what to start, you need to worry about these things. But remember one thing, how you are going to handle in the real time by using a PMCMD commands, and you're using a control M tool. When
Mm-hmm.
someone asks,
Control, you
control M is a tool.
know? Mm-hmm.
Okay, and PMCMD commands are to control your Informatica jobs.
Yeah. What is control M?
Control M is a tool, just like a scheduling tool.
Okay.
Okay, so where you can schedule your jobs, at what time they're supposed to run, okay, and what time they're supposed to hold, what time they're supposed to look for the Informatica files,
Mm-hmm.
like a file watcher, I said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, if you have, like, if you're having any interest, you can create this workflow. Just create a timer task. Anyway, you cannot implement this email, okay, but timer
Mm-hmm.
you can do it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what are the worklets? Worklets are like kind of reusable objects and where you can group multiple sessions. Difference between worklets and workflow. Worklets are reusable and you can use in multiple workflows. But workflows are not reusable. You cannot reuse them in any worklet.
Mm-hmm.
Timer task to assign a time. Control task to control your flow.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is it make sense? Like I'm going like very fast, or how do you feel?
That's okay. I'll go through all this
Okay.
again.
But like first focus on your transformations. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Once you
Mm-hmm.
familiarize with them, if you have time and passion,
Mm-hmm.
you can come back to this.
Yeah.
Even basically, this is what we did. We already did these things. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
We already did built all these mappings. So if you have any questions on this part, you can definitely go ahead. But like daily, we are having like kind of a review sessions and we are building in within the lab only, right? So
Mm-hmm.
we already discussed all these mappings. Okay, you can create your own workflow to arrange them or to run all these mappings.
Mm-hmm.
So that's all, Jaya. I mean, concepts wise, and basically he's trying to explain like power center, advanced option, and standard editions, and that's not needed for now. If you want to do like any kind of a basically this slide is belongs to the power center, I mean Informatica. Okay, so they created these slides for their training purpose,
Okay.
and the same thing we are trying to use. Okay, I mean, even if you go to Informatica training also, if you take a real-time training, they're going to use the same slides a long time back, like 6 months back or something. Even I stopped the trainings like from last 4 to 6 months. That's why like sometimes I'm getting confused when
Okay.
it's like I come into the concepts when you're trying to execute it. Okay, so that's all. Like as I mentioned, so from the 17th slide, it won't take much time. So only the problem is with the transformations and that slowly change dimension. Tomorrow, I mean not tomorrow, today only, in the evening, like around like 9 o'clock time, we'll try to connect back and we'll try to see your resume. Okay, and another one, what is missing is the parameter. Okay, only these two things are pending, right?
Yeah.
Anything else other than that?
No.
Okay, then. So for the resume, before the starting of the class, just go through the resume completely.
Yeah, I
And
saw the resume.
yeah, no, go through and make a note, whatever you didn't understand,
Okay.
so that it will be easy for us to, because or else like simply I'm reading and I'm explaining doesn't make any sense, right?
Yeah.
First you go through, okay, and just make a note. Whenever I'm explaining, right, you can stress that point so that I can explain in a better way. Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Oh, okay, Jaya. So we'll meet at 9 o'clock my time.
Okay, sir. Okay.
Any other questions?
యాక్చువల్లీ రెజ్యూమేలో మీరు ఏదైనా ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఇస్తే నేను పెట్టుకోవడానికి ఉంటుందా?
ఓకే, మీరు ఆ రెజ్యూమే చూస్తే దాంట్లో అసలు నేను ప్రాజెక్ట్ ఏది మెన్షన్ చేయలేదు, రైట్?
యా యా.
సో అదే నేను రాత్రి నుంచి అదే చెప్తాను ట్రై చేస్తున్నాను. ప్రాజెక్ట్ అనేది నేను ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేస్తాను, నేను చేయను అంటలేను.
ఓకే.
కాకపోతే ఏంటంటే ఆ రెజ్యూమ్లో మీరు ఎక్కడ పెట్టలేరు దాన్ని, మీరు ఓన్లీ అది ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేసేటప్పుడు మాత్రమే చెప్పగలుగుతారు. సో మీ ఇఫ్ యూ వాంట్ ఐ కెన్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ మై ప్రాజెక్ట్.
ఓకే, అంటే ఆ రెజ్యూమేలో ప్రాజెక్ట్ మెన్షన్ చేశారేమో కదా, జేపీ మార్గన్ లో మీరు చేసి.
లేదు, క్లయింట్ ని మెన్షన్ చేశాం, ప్రాజెక్ట్ ని కాదు.
ఓకే, అంటే మీరు జస్ట్ ఈటీఎల్ ని జస్ట్ యూజ్ చేసినట్టు పెట్టారు అంతే.
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ.
ఈ ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో. ఓకే.
ఏ రెజ్యూమ్లో అయినా కానీ ప్రాజెక్ట్ బెటర్ ఎవరైనా, ఎందుకంటే అది క్లయింట్ ప్రొపరేటరీ కదా. ఎందుకంటే క్లయింట్ సంబంధించిన ఇన్ఫర్మేషన్ మనం రెజ్యూమ్ లో వేరే వాళ్ళకి ప్రొజెక్ట్ చేయలేము. ఈవెన్ మీరు ఇంటర్వ్యూస్కి వెళ్తున్నా కూడా అది ప్రొజెక్ట్ చేయలేరు, కాకపోతే సినారియోస్ ఎక్స్ప్లెయిన్ చేయొచ్చు, ఈ విధంగా నేను చేశాను అని చెప్పొచ్చు.
ఓకే, ఇప్పుడు నేను పెట్టుకున్న ప్రాజెక్ట్ లో కూడా జస్ట్ నేను ఈ ఈటీఎల్ ఫార్మాట్స్ అన్ని వాడాను అని పెట్టుకుంటే సరిపోతుంది అంతే కదా?
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ, ఎలా వాడారని చెప్పాలా, ఏం వాడారనేది పెట్టాలి.
ఓకే ఓకే
ఓకే, ఎక్కడ మీరు ప్రాజెక్ట్ గురించి రాయరు. ఓన్లీ థింగ్ ఇస్, అందుకే నేను ఎందుకు అంటున్నాను అంటే, ఐ మీన్ వై ఐఎమ్ ఇన్సిస్టింగ్ ఆన్ దట్ యూ షుడ్ హ్యావ్ ఎ
ప్రాజెక్ట్
క్లియర్.
అంటే ఐ మీన్ దట్ ద రోల్ అండ్ రెస్పాన్సిబిలిటీ వాట్ ఐ డిడ్ ఇన్ దట్ ప్రాజెక్ట్ అన్నది కదా నేను చెప్తాను.
ఎగ్జాక్ట్లీ, కాకపోతే ఎలా చేశారని చెప్పడానికి మాత్రం క్లియర్ గా పెట్టాలా.
యా యా యా, అర్థమైంది.
ఓకే జయ.
ఓకే.
యా, బై బై, విల్ మీట్ ఎట్ 9.
ఓకే.
యా, బై.